Hey guys, this is Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, and today I have the Recruit Vest rant. Now, if you guys don't know what a Recruit Vest is, it is one of the most broken, one of the most overpowered vests in Combat Arms right now. Now, if you look at the stats of the Recruit Vest, it's good, but it isn't like overpoweredly good if you look at the raw stats. Now, the raw stats are plus 10 speed and plus 20 protection. Now, the Recruit Vest is given to low-ranked players to help them out because high-ranked people like me, we have a lot of NX, we have a lot of really good guns, and giving low-ranked people a little bit of an advantage, only obviously at the lower ranks, I think would be okay. But you can't give them too much of an advantage. Now, plus 10 speed and plus 20 protection, it's decent, it's a light vest, and you have a little bit of tankiness to it. You're going to be going and soaking up a few more hits. It's a-okay, in my opinion, to have those stats. However, the Recruit Vest in Combat Arms right now is bugged. It is completely bugged. When you go and verse people with the Recruit Vest, they will consistently, and I mean consistently, they will 90% of the time go and tank your one-hit kill sniper rifle shots. That means this gun has a protection rating more along the lines of Horsel or the Tanker Vest, and that is around 40 to 45. Now, you have a 40 to 45 protection vest with plus 10 speed. That means people can run around relatively fast if they're going to be using, a very lightweight sniper rifle, and you put it in the hands of, let's say, a Smurf, a person that has a high-ranked account and has gone and made a new account to go and try out this vest, and you're definitely mixing a lot of things together to have a lot of trouble. Now, Combat Arms at the moment is basically plagued by this vest, and if you're a high-ranked player and you verse a low-ranked player, then more than likely you shouldn't go and bring a sniper rifle, because sniper rifles are now two-shot kill weapons, because I personally use the Tango 51 and the SG 50 quite a lot, and I've swapped back to the LNA6A1, and I've swapped back to more high damage sniper rifles that go and counter this Recruit Vest. But at the moment, that is still not really doing the job. They still tank quite a lot. However, lower damage one-hit kill sniper rifles like the SIG and the Tango definitely tank a lot more. Now, obviously, this is a bug in Nexon's coding. It says plus 20 protection, plus 10 speed, but as I said before, it feels like a plus, let's say, a plus 45 protection. It is very high indeed. Now, people have been saying that this is deliberate, this is deliberately done by Nexon. They're going to give lower ranked players a really good advantage. And the big advantage is, if they hop in the sniper-only one-man army rooms, then I put a shot into them, and they tank it, and that means they can put a shot into me. I don't tank it because I'm wearing recon vest, and all in all, they go and live, I go and die. It makes them more happy. They go and play the game for longer. That's a fear that a lot of people have gone and put up. I hope that it's simply a bug, and I hope that Nexon's going to go and fix it, but you can't go and rule out anything really when it comes to this game. But I think that vests in general are something that you really have to go and look at a really keen eye. High-ranked players, people with NX, we have 25% speed constant. I've got a permanent recon vest. Now, I think the only way to go and make this game more fair for GP users is to go and make the recon vest for GP. Make the recon vest for GP, and yes, it's going to be a little bit annoying if you've paid so much money to go and get it for permanent, but I think overall, having it permanent by, buying it for NX, you do that for the sake of convenience, for the fact that you don't have to go and hire every single day. That's how really good free-to-play games are. You go and buy NX, you go and buy real-life money for convenience, not for an advantage. I think for Combat Arms to be a more fair and more balanced FPS, you have to do one of two things. The first thing I said is put the recon vest in the shop, but the second thing is go and reduce the cap then. Go and reduce the speed cap and make it lower. But that simply can't happen. Everybody's so used to 25% speed. If you go and drop it down to 15% speed max, then there will be legitimately a revolt. The community will revolt. if you put the recon vest in the shop, it is making a game a little bit more fair Does it go and speed up the average speed of like all the users in the game? Of course it does, but I think overall, people are used to a very, very, very fast-paced combat arms, and I think that is a solution that will definitely go and be of use. Now, let's go back to the recruit vest. What are we going to go and do with the recruit vest? Now, you have a solution. A solution would be to go and fix it, give it plus 20 protection, and that would be all good and dandy. But to be perfectly honest, I don't like just fixing it and leaving it. I think just getting rid of the recruit vest and getting rid of recruit items in general is something that really needs to be done. Now, hear me out. If you go and give somebody a recruit vest, they are going to be living in a falsified world kind of thing. They're going to be living in a world where tanking shots is a regular occurrence and having relatively high speed while being very tanky is a really, really common occurrence. In combat arms, that doesn't happen. For the majority of players that are like not recruit, we have lived with the reality that if you want to be tanky, you've got to be slow. If you want to be fast, you've got to be, really, really squishy. That's a reality. That's the reality of combat arms. I run a recon vest. I run a very, very, very high speed kit. And that means I can consistently not tank. Like, if people put a shot into me with an LN6A1, I'm going to die 99% of the time unless I get shot in the foot. Now saying that, if I run a tanky setup, then I know, okay, I'm going to be slower. That means it's going to be easier for me to hit with, let's say, P90. But I'll be able to go and more consistently tank stuff like an LN6A1 shot. But if you go and give people these recruit items, which are simply just normal items in the game with better stats, it gives these new players a bit of freedom in the early stage of the game. But then when they go out into the real world and they don't have these items per se, it's going to go and make their life a lot more frustrating because they've lived with such convenience, and then you go and take it away from them and they're going to be at a disadvantage. But they're thinking they're going to be at a disadvantage, but in reality, they're just playing on really the same playing field that we all are. We're playing on really either a speed or a tankiness type setup, but they're playing on both. I think getting rid of recruit items in general is a good idea. And Nexon is planning to go and implement more recruit items, like a recruit Captain Sauser, and a recruit Viper, and a recruit Scorpion, and who knows what stats these characters may have. For example, I believe there's going to be a recruit Declan, and the thing is when people go and use this recruit character or whatever, and then it expires, then going to go into the shop and say, oh, okay, I'm going to go and buy Declan normal. If they don't go and read the stats, they go in game and they realize, oh shit, this character is actually a lot worse than what I played with. Wow, that's a little bit weird. Wow, that's a little bit confusing. And you don't want to go and confuse newer players anymore, because Combat Arms is a bit of a confusing FPS. There's a lot to go and learn about. And overall, if you're going to go and add another layer of confusion, that is just completely the opposite to what Nexon's going for with this whole new update. It's going to make new players more invited to the game instead of repelled from the game. Now, the solution to all of this is a very, very simple one. You go and remove all the recruit items and you put a lot of emphasis on matchmaking. Now, matchmaking, in theory, should go and solve many of these problems, okay? So what happens is matchmaking goes and bases people based on your skill level. So if you have a lot of really, really new people that are very, very bad at the game, and they go through their prelim matches and whatnot, they suck a lot of dick, and in the end, they're going to go and be matched against people that, again, suck a lot of dick, and overall, it's going to be a noob fest in that game. The problem, what we've had in the past with noob versus noobs, is like the Jackson server, the low rank server, and people would simply go and make, let's say, a smurf, and then they'll just go and absolutely stomp. Now, the only way to go and get into these very, very, very low ranked matches with the new matchmaking system would be you make a new account, you go and just absolutely int. You just run it down mid every single match, and you just go and die multiple times. You make the system go and realize, okay, you're a bad player, and that will take considerable amount of time. It won't take just 3 matches. It will take quite a while for the system to go and realize, okay, you're not so good of a player, and then eventually you get put against bad players, and then eventually you'll be able to go and own them. But as you go and own them, the system will go and realize, oh shit, you're an actual good player, and then in the next match, it will just put you against good players. So overall, matchmaking in theory should go and solve this problem, and in theory, there should be no need for recruit vests. Because as soon as players, get a little bit better and they realize the game a little bit more, they'll be versing more difficult opponents. And when they verse more difficult opponents, they'll be able to go and learn a little bit more. They're able to go and up their skills a little bit more. And I think overall that will be a really, really good thing. Smurfing is an issue at the moment, especially, as I said before, people go and getting all the recruit vests, and I hope that matchmaking goes and fixes it. But at the moment, we don't know when matchmaking is going to be coming out. It could be, at the end of the year. It could be in a day. It could be in a week. Could be in a month. Who really knows? So with all of that said, the first thing that Nexon has to do is go and fix the stats on the recruit vest, and don't go and release the rest of the recruit items. Just don't implement them into the game. There is absolutely no point. The loaded G36E Valkyries in the files, they went through with that, and there was a massive backlash. All you have to do now is simply just not implement the items, and you won't get a backlash, and everybody will be a-okay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this commentary. If you did, make sure to go and give it a like rating. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under, out.